We might go live on YouTube today. If I press it maybe 13 times, it went live. There we go. Don't mind my ignorance. I'm just an American. What part of the UK are you from, bro? That's not ignorant, my friend. You're good. Don't you worry. I am from Bournemouth. It's the very south coast of England. It's like 2 hours from London, hour and a half from London. So yeah, I'm right by the coast. Everyone comes and uses my beach in the summer and they will fill it up and then I can't go to the beach. Whereabouts in Bournemouth? Oh, yeah, let me just dox myself real quick. Listen, who's going to turn up at my door and be bigger than me? You know? See you over there, Chief. See you over there, Gremlin. Thanks, mate. The boys and I are talking about joining back to midnight, but we have some fix felling about the expansion. Come back, Muffin. I don't know exactly what you mean, but come back. You'll have a good time. Everybody will have a good time with the new WoW expansion. It's just fact. It's just the case. Oh, some mixed feelings about the expansion. Yep. See, my brain... Was it yesterday that I was saying my brain wasn't working? And the day before, and the day before, and today, brain no work. Brain no good. Brain bad. Looking it up real quick, I'm curious. Wait, looking at my address? What the hell? Yep, up the cherries. I don't really follow football. I supported Man United as I grew up. And I did support Bournemouth for a little bit when they were in like the championship. I still would support them now, right? They're my local team, but I just don't really follow football. I don't mind football. I grew up playing football and I was pretty good at football, but I don't know. Football fans cringe me out, man. They are just some of the cringiest cults in the world. Like, these people would die for their team, and their team has no idea they exist. You're cheering for 11 men and fighting for 11 men that have no idea you are even relevant. Do you get any surf out there? I think so. Yeah, I'm not a big surfer myself, but they did build a reef years ago that was meant to create good surf, but it just, I don't think it did. I think it was a massive fail. But people do surf down by the pier. I'm just not a big surfer myself. What's up, Toaster? I've supported Man United since the early 90s. One of the few teams that was shown on the TV in Finland. Let's go. Knew I liked you, AB. I supported United when I was growing up, mainly because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Kind of like Twitch chats. That's good, Red. I like that. No, because at least, no, I know that you guys are alive. You guys are relevant to me. But footballers just have no care in the world. I mean, some of them care about their fans, right? But not like personally, not individually. They have no idea who they are. And they get paid shit tons. Can I start getting paid like a footballer? Would surfing be hard for you because of your height? Wait, why would that be? So yeah, same story as we did for the melee. Say you're in the easier tier. If you're further to the right of the easier tier, that means you're closer to the mid tier. And then if you're further right on the harder tier, that means you're closest to the hardest tier. So we'll see if we have our first hardest spec for the ranged. From the ranged DPS. Just in case I need to redo that. I just assumed you're quite short. Wrong. 6'6", by the way. Org is hardest. If you're talking the hardest, gigs better pop up in your thoughts as an artist. Jeez. Right. For how many of you are in here? There is like the fuck all people talking, and I'm not happy about it. So what is going on there then? Tell me. I wonder where BM will go. Wouldn't you like to know? I actually don't really have that many notes for today either. I don't know why, I just could not focus this morning. So we're just going to do a lot of freestyling off the top of the dome today. Jake, have you bricked that key for the streamer group plus Jake the Brit? There you go, Ape. Go and check out Jake. Hello, handsome. Wait, why is everybody flirting with me today? What's going on? In Jake's chat, they were saying that I was like, Sainsbury's called me an 8.5. Jake called me a 9.4. And then Uni called me a 9.6 after I'd been to Turkey. So, I mean, we're scoring pretty high across the board there. Listen, I'll take it. I'll take it. I carried, actually. Yeah, well, I don't think you could have completed Wind Run Aspire in that time frame, so I think you bricked. Right, let's start with the Devourer Demon Hunter then. So this is the new spec coming into Midnight, and my golly gosh, is this a very, very simple spec. I think you have a total of 4 buttons, but one of the buttons you don't press, being Void Blade. At least you don't press that when you're playing the Annihilator hero talents. I think you do actually press it when you play Felscarred, which makes it slightly more complex. We're scraping the barrel there for complexity. Does make it slightly more complex because your Void Blade then turns into Hungering Slash for some extra damage, extra soul generation, and then that buffs up your Vengeful Retreat, weirdly, which you then do a backflip for some extra damage. So that by its nature kind of makes Felscarred the more difficult of the two, but still a very, very easy spec nonetheless. You are literally building with Consume. You can do all of your damage on the move at range, so you don't have to worry about that. For some reason, I always just think of myself as a melee, so you will always find me in melee. But you're going to be building up your Fury and your souls with your Consume. You're going to be spamming that over and over, like 10 times when you first get into a raid fight or first jump into a dungeon. You're then going to build up to 100 Fury, and then you're going to send your Void Ray. And that is pretty much the cycle. You go Consume and Reaps up to 100 Fury, Void Ray into a Reap because that gets buffed up into an Eradicate, which looks unreal, but it's the same button press. It is a frontal cone, so watch where you're firing it because you might ninja pull. Not that I've done that. But that is pretty much your general rotation. It's your most basic builder and spender. You then get into your meta window once you get up to 50 shards or souls, sorry. You go into meta, that then makes your meta button Collapsing Star. This is the biggest source of your overall damage alongside Eradicate. Collapsing Star consumes up to like 25 or 30 souls to fire off the Collapsing Star. There is a little bit of difficulty with this because once you begin casting your Collapsing Star, it's going to put it on cooldown for 5 seconds. Otherwise, there might be some like bug abusing. So you want to make sure that you're going to actually be able to get the cast off, because if not, you're going to lose out on damage for one, but it also means that you're going to cancel the Collapsing Star. And while you're casting your Collapsing Star and your Void Ray, your Fury drain is very heavily reduced. So you're going to stay in your meta for a lot longer, because while you're inside your meta, gradually, increasingly over time, your Fury starts to drain faster and faster to get you out of your meta. So you're kind of like balancing or fighting against that the whole time. And Void Ray and Collapsing Star are big contenders as to staying in your Void meta for as long as you can, because they slow your Fury drain massively while you're casting them. That is it for the Devourer, though. And a lot of staying inside meta is just spamming Consume as fast as you possibly can. So stack a lot of haste. For the Devourer Demon Hunter, wait, give me a second. Let's do that. For the Devourer Demon Hunter, it is becoming our new easiest spec of the tier list so far. What are you saying huh for? Spoiler, he's absolutely done that. Spoiler, absolutely did that yesterday. Don't say huh like that, because it scares me that I didn't show something or did a bad or something like that, you know? Oh, I do actually have notes for Balance Druid. Let's go. Next up, we have the Balance Druid, which I actually think has gotten slightly more complex going into Midnight. So we've got a new Eclipse system, which again which, yeah, has made the spec more complex. So it's now an active button press. That's not the hard part of it, because you actually only have to cast one of your builders now. So if you wanted to go into Lunar Eclipse, you would just want to press the Starfire before, then activate your Eclipse. When you activate your Eclipse, it's going to give you a free instant cast builder, so just be wary of that. And also, I think sometimes you get a free spender off the rip as well. Or that might just be an Incarn. I can't exactly remember. However, the complexity of this comes because no matter how well you play your Eclipses and how well spaced out you play your Eclipses, for some reason, I'm hoping this is going to get changed, you will at some point have downtime in your Eclipses for up to 20 seconds, which feels disgusting. So with that in mind, you do actually need to make sure that you're pressing your Eclipses at the right time, because say you had a damage amp coming up, you've got no Incarn, and you've got damage amp coming up in like 10 seconds, or let's say 20 seconds, and you send your Eclipse now, and then you have no Eclipse for the damage amp, that's bad news bears. So instead, what you'd rather do is just sit outside of Eclipse, which feels like ass, but then you want to use your Eclipse for when the damage amp comes. So there's a little bit of thinking there. It's not just how it used to be, where you just cast two of the opposite spell and it put you into the other Eclipse. So that is the new Eclipse system, which has definitely made things a little bit more complex. Also, if you play, there's a choice node where you can either play with a faster ticking Starfall, which will be nice for your lower content, or you can play with the Starfall extension on your dot. So every time you press Starfall, it extends your Moonfire and your Sunfire. But if you're playing in lower keys and you do play that rampier, burstier Starfall, then you are going to have to take note and be wary of reapplying your dots, especially in AoE, because your Starfall is simply not going to be extending them for you. That happens completely passively pretty much when you're playing with the Starfall extension. For the Balance Druid, there is quite a few more procs to react to than before as well. The thing that I never really liked about Balance was it was so predictable, and that in turn made things a lot easier in my opinion. But there are a few more procs to react to now. Your builders have a chance to grant you a free spender, so your Wrath and your Starfire have a chance to grant you a free Starfall or Star Surge, and then your Starfall and Star Surge also have a chance to proc you a free version of the other spender. So say you use a Star Surge, it has a chance to grant you a free usage of a Starfall, and vice versa. So they can proc off of each other as well. So you just got to be wary that you don't want to miss out on any of these free spenders that you're getting access to. Outside of that, you have 2 charges of Incarn. So I feel like that in general makes the spec more forgiving, but it does also mean that you have to be wary of your cooldown usage, because they're on quite a long cooldown. So say your first pull of a dungeon, you obviously want to send your cooldowns, but if the pack's quickly dying, you're not going to want to send your next set of cooldowns, because you're not going to get maximum value out of that. So you're going to have to wait a little bit, use it for the next pack, or use it for the next boss, whatever you see fit. Which DPS are good for having minimal ramp up to their damage? Mage Specs, Ret, MM Hunter, there's quite a few bursty specs, to be honest. Both are up and running, Jade Nova. The Plater and Platinator are both up and running, but I'm using Platinator at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much the main complexity of Balance. When you're playing Elune's Chosen, things become a lot easier because you don't even enter your Solar Eclipse, you don't use Wrath, you just don't entertain that half of your class, so you just spam Starfire and Starfall or Star Surge. With Elune's Chosen though, you do get a lot of cooldown reduction on your Fury of Elune if you're talented into that, so you just need to be mindful of that and make sure that you're not wasting any cooldown usage with your Fury of Elune. I would say that the what the fuck is the other hero talent called? I would say that Keeper of the Grove is definitely the more complex of the two. You want to weave a lot of damage inside of those Treant windows, because that's going to buff up your spell damage. You want to make sure you get all of your Dream Burst procced off in there. use your instant cast builders at the same time, and also weave in as much spender usage as you can to maximize your damage inside those cooldowns. And that's every 45 seconds as well. Type 1 in YouTube chat if you think the best is bold. Oh. Oh. Greg. What's that about? Gregorio. This music's throwing me off. Ooh, that's a good shout. That is definitely a good shout. Can't tell that I'm bold. Let's go, DK. Love you. What's up, Scorpions? Bunt? Is it Bunt? I don't know. So yeah, that is the hero talents. As you enter Eclipses and as you enter Incarn as well, you have insane astral power generation. So although you get these free builders that you definitely want to use, you're also just slamming, like it's very easy to overcap on AP as balance, so you need to be slamming down Star Surges, Star Falls, otherwise you will definitely overcap. So it's kind of like balancing getting as many spenders off as you can at the same time as not wasting your free builders, free instant cast builders that you get. Also, a big thing with balance as well is the insane amount of button bloat. If you log on to balance compared to any other class, on the cooldown manager, there is infinitely more buttons. It's wild. I think there's like 9 or 10 buttons. You can talent it into even more with like wild mushrooms and other abilities as well. So there is a lot of buttons to keep in mind with the Balance Druid as well, which in comparison to other classes, I think makes it a little bit more difficult. But I would still say, as a whole, the Balance Druid has always been overrated in terms of difficulty. I think the Eclipse system really freaks people out, and it's actually a very simple spec. Apply your dots, build, spend. Build, spend. Spend when you can, build when you can. Maintain dots. That is literally it. Go into the correct Eclipse system for the scenario. So if it's single target or even 2 targets but spread, you'll go into Solar Eclipse if you're playing Keeper of the Grove. If you're playing Elun's Chosen, you just always go into Lunar Eclipse and you're always smashing the Starfire button. So the Eclipse system is really not that complicated either. For the Balance Druid, there's slightly more to maintain and think about than the Warrior specs, but I'm still going to put it in the easier tier. Elun's Power. Shadow Priest is more easy. Every spec is much easier now, I would say. Roberto, what's up, Chief? How's it going, big dog? Thank you very much for the 26 months. Appreciate you. God. Org, easiest. Next, Dev. Shall I just rage bait with that? What's up, Rob? No, okay, right. We'll go back to Org then. Org, very simple spec. You are a passenger princess. The complexity of this spec, if it was just purely based on your damage rotation, it would be further to the left. But the complexity of this spec comes from using your utility at the right time, helping out your team and all that nonsense that nobody actually cares about. Org's an easy spec. You press Ebb and Might, you spam Living Flame and Eruption. You use your empowered abilities where possible, and you win. And you just get carried to victory. There you go. Org mains. No, surely nobody actually is watching a difficulty tier list to find out how difficult Org is, right? Next, Devastation Evoker. Evoker as a whole is just a very simple class. Well, apart from maybe Preservation, I'm not actually too sure about that. Devastation Evoker, again, a very simple spec. In AoE, you're going to be spamming out Pyres. In single target, you're going to be spamming Disintegrates. Those are going to be your essence spenders. In between that, I would say that Dev's gotten a little bit more complex because now you're actually using your Azure Strike because that gets buffed up by your tier set and it turns into Azure Sweep. So you don't want to munch your Azure Sweeps. What the fuck is wrong with this playlist, man? There we go. Can't do lyrics. Can't do lyrics. So that's the basic premise. You weave in your empowered spells. Obviously, with your Eternity Surge, you need to get to grips with how much you need to charge it, depending on the target count, because the empowered level only affects how many targets the Eternity Surge actually hits. That also sends out Shattering Star passively now, so Shattering Star is not a button by itself. Oh my god! Shut up with your shit rap. Let's go to this song radio. There we go. Nice. Get the WoW lo-fi on. I mean, that would save editing, to be fair, as well. Your blue spells, so your Eternity Surge and your Azure Sweep as well, is also going to start granting you charges of... And a charge pulse, is it? That buffs up your pyre. So you want to make sure that you don't overcap on stacks of pyre. I think that stacks up to 20 stacks. So let off those pyres, but you're going to be doing that in AoE anyway. I mean, you are literally just a pyre spam bot, a pad bot, if you will. And then your other empowered ability is Fire Breath. Now, Fire Breath is pretty simple. The more you charge it up, the more upfront burst damage it's going to do, and the shorter the dot. However, Flame Shaper has had a massive rework to its hero talents, where now your Essence Spender's abilities actually consume a portion of your Fire Breath that's on the target, the duration of your Fire Breath, to deal upfront damage with Consume Flame. So what you want to do is you want to have as much Fire Breath uptime as you can, so that you're always consuming flame, because Consume Flame absolutely rips and will be one of your top damage sources. So there's a little bit of added complexity there, and I would say that that is definitely harder than the old Flame Shaper, which was just based around having dots on the target and pressing engulf, basically. Scale Commander, you now have access to 2 deep breaths, which I personally hate. The downtime with it feels horrible, but this is not about fun, it's about complexity. That is not hard to use. That applies your bombardments. Bombardments will deal your extra damage. And then your empowered spells buff up your next Disintegrate. It's only one, the next Disintegrate, to hit up to 3 targets, or 4 targets total, with your Mass Disintegrate. So you just want to make sure that you're not munching that and you're firing off those Disintegrates. It has a very wide range, so you don't need to necessarily wait until the mobs are next to each other. Seems a bit finicky with how that actually works. But that is pretty much it for the Devastation Evoker. Very simple. You need to be wary of your range. You're only 25 yards range, so you're not a full range DPS. Wait, do people actually like the double deep breath? Surely not, right? That shit feels like ass. So yeah, that is Scale Commander. Just don't forget to use your second deep breath, which I was doing arguably on purpose because it just felt so horrible to press. So the Devastation Evoker is another very, very easy spec. We're going to put it next to Org. I would say it's more difficult than Org. I mean, to be fair, you could probably swap these out, because if you're including utility, then maybe Org is a little bit harder. I don't know. It's Evoker. Who actually cares? Double deep breath gone? No, I don't think it has gone. Add a new Org tier. Honestly, with the edit for the YouTube video, I might just leave Org out and I might just put it straight in the easiest tier. Okay, then. The easiest spec in the game. I would have said that Ret was the easiest spec in the War Within. There's my little bit of rage bait. But Beast Mastery Hunter is definitely the easiest spec in the game right now. Somehow this spec got even easier. A lot of people would have said it's the easiest spec in the game before, but now there is no arguments. It 100% is. They got rid of all complexity with this class. Barb Shot now has pretty much 0 interaction with the rest of your rotation. It used to be a maintenance buff where you would have to spread out your Barb Shots because it would apply or start your Frenzy. Because it would give you stacks of Frenzy, which you'd have to build up to 3, and then you'd have to maintain those 3 stacks of Frenzy to get 90% attack speed. So you would never want to use your Barb Shots too quickly for the most part, because you would likely run out of your Frenzy stacks at some point. What they've done now is Frenzy is just a passive talent, and your pet's basic attack speed is always 40% faster because of the talent, and Barb Shot has zero interaction with that. So, my brain's breaking. That makes the easiest. That makes one of the easiest specs in the game already that much easier. But believe me, there's more to come. What else did Barb Short? There was another thing that Barb Short did. Oh yeah, Barb Shot also used to reduce the cooldown of Bestial Wrath. They got rid of that as well. So Bestial Wrath is now just a flat 30-second cooldown. That inherently makes that cooldown so much easier to use as well, because, I mean, when a cooldown is 30 seconds, is it even realistically a cooldown? You're just going to send it on cooldown and forget about it. There's really not too much thinking. Very niche situations where you might need to hold it for like a few seconds. But Barb Shot is no longer reducing the cooldown of that either. You don't need to really spread out your Barb Shots as, or you're not going to be... Wait, no, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, the Org main is not allowed to comment on the placement of Org. I say send the Rage Bait. What is that emote? It would be funny and give me a chuckle. I mean, we don't care about the opinions of all players anyway, do we? So yeah, Barb Shot has been stripped of all of its interactions pretty much. It does slightly reduce the cooldown of your kill command, so does your Cobra Shot. So you will naturally get more kill commands that way because they reworked War Orders to where it's not a chance for Barb Shot to give you a charge of kill command. It now just reduces the cooldown of your kill command. So it's more reliable that way, but again, that makes things easier. You also lost your main 2-minute cooldown in Call of the Wild, so there's no thinking in terms of cooldown timings or anything like that. You can do all of your damage on the move at range without fail. That, by default, has always made the spec one of the easiest specs in the game. You lose 0 damage by having to run away from the boss or having to do a mechanic as long as you can stay within range of the boss. So that just makes things a whole lot easier for you as is. Is this also left to right? So right is closer to the next tier down. Yeah, that's right, Maleficent. Breath windows are super important. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but yeah. Is there anything else to talk about for BM? Oh, then Wild Thrash, then Beast Cleave also got slightly changed as well. So they lost even more buttons. They now no longer have Kill Shot, and they also don't have a Multi-Shot. Multi-Shot gets replaced with Wild Thrash, which does make more sense class fantasy-wise. However, Wild Thrash is now just your Beast Cleave activator. It does some upfront damage and then activates your Beast Cleave for the same duration that the cooldown of Wild Thrash is. So again, no thinking necessary, because in AoE, you just press Wild Thrash when you can press it, and that will pretty much give you 100% uptime on your Beast Cleave, which is now the only thing that you need to track. You can spread out your Barb Shots for a bit of min-maxing. With Master Handler, the ticks on those spread out Barb Shots will reduce your kill command cooldown more so than if you didn't, and you'll also just get more damage because you've got more bleeds ticking. Apart from that, Bloodshed is now baked into Bestial Wrath. I think that makes sense. So that's one more less button to press. You are literally a 3-button rotation now. Beast Mastery is the easiest spec in the game. That's Cap. What's Cap? Yeah, we said everything. Sounds like more going on than a sub-rogue. True. True and real. True and real. Next up, we have the Marksmanship Hunter. I don't know what they did to my baby. Chat. This spec is so oversimplified now. This spec is literally as basic as keeping rapid fire and aim shot on cooldown and weaving in between with an arcane shot or a multi-shot to consume your precise shot stacks. Precise shot buffs up the damage of your arcane or multi-shot. Use arcane shot on single target and use multi-shot on 2 or more targets. In 3 or more targets, your multi-shot will give you trick shots, which is the only thing that you really need to worry about as marksmanship, because if you don't have your trick shots active for your next rapid fire or aim shot, you're not going to be doing any AoE damage. So that is the only real punishing thing as an MM hunter now. Rapid fire is basically just a buff ability for your aim shot now. It does like no damage itself. Even when it resets and does like 35% extra damage, still barely even tickles the mobs. So it is literally just an ability to buff up your aim shot. Aim shot is like 50% of your overall damage. It's ridiculous. Everything about your aim shot is... Everything is about aim shot now. Everything is about aim shot now. Streamline has gone, so the cast time is much longer and you don't have to worry about your streamline stacks that kind of happen passively anyway. The only thing that you need to react to with your aim shot is lock and load procs, which do feel more impactful, but again, a very easy proc to react to. So there's no real complexity there. Explosive shot is gone as well, so you don't have to worry about firing off your aim shot instantly after your explosive shot to blow up the explosive shot for extra damage, which was super fun and added a bit more depth to the spec. That is gone. Kill shot is not a default ability to the marksmanship hunter. You actually have to talent into that, which I imagine you'll only do on single target or if you're playing Dark Ranger. So that's one less button to worry about, and you definitely feel that in the Mythic Plus build on single target. It just feels so simple. We mentioned Dark Ranger there. The black arrow interaction has completely vanished as well. So headshot has been reworked, which basically meant that black arrow would be able to consume your precise shot stacks instead of just multi-shot and arcane shot. So after using a aim shot or a rapid fire, that gives you precise shots, which you would then want to use on a black arrow, because black arrow in AoE, if it hits 2 or more targets, it's going to give you trick shots. However, that feels completely pointless because you'll still have a precise shot stack now. So then you still need to multi-shot in AoE or arcane shot to actually consume the precise shot stack so that you can then use your aim shot and rapid fire again so that you're not munching that precise shot, which just makes 0 sense. But it means that, I mean, I guess maybe arguably that makes things a bit more difficult because you have to know to use your black arrow and multi-shot in between, whereas before you would just black arrow into another aim shot or rapid fire. So that is Dark Ranger. Sentinel, you just need to make sure that you remember to use your Moonlight Chakram, which your true shot turns into during its cooldown. So make sure you fire off that Moonlight Chakram with a talent that can then give you a lock and load. So ideally, you would use it when you're not overcapped on aim shot charges, so that you, so that your focus economy flows better, and you're just not munching any aim shots, so that you don't run out of aim shots. So that is the marksmanship hunter. That's some good picks, Papa. That's some good picks. Go for Unholy DK, my friend. Why is Fury not in the easiest? Purely because of the pace of the spec. And Hana, you're warrior one trick, mate. Of course you're going to find it easy. BM is super easy with dogshit DPS. DH is nearly as easy and does great DPS. Tough choice. Go DH. Not a one trick. We've rustled his jimmies, chat. Just very dedicated. Yeah. Yeah. So the marksmanship hunter, definitely going in the easiest tier. What I will do for the marksmanship hunter is put it just behind the retribution paladin. I think there's a few buffs that you need to think about, but still a very easy spec. Also, you might as well remove arms from the list. That spec does not exist. Wait, what do you mean? Because it's dog shit or what? Thanks for the follows, gang. Appreciate you all. It's awful. What, in like performance or in terms of gameplay? What do you mean? What do you mean, fool? MMDR was so good. They got, yeah, man, it's such a shame. They need to bring that precise shots interaction back. Speaking of 3 buttons rotation, you try the J Beast. What is your beef with Arcane Mage? It's wild. You are so like, you are so set on the fact that Arcane is so easy, and it's not that easy. I saw you in Petco's chat the other day yapping about it. Windwalker Monk sounds like it's so much less fun and has no cool ability. I started playing it in Season 2, and the spec I played was... Oh, you started playing in Season 2. Yeah. I mean, what you're going to find is a lot of specs have probably gotten a little bit less fun in Midnight because of the prune. Yeah, I mean, every spec is easier going into Midnight, for sure. Oh, show. Yeah, Rogue is eating good. Rogue mains are eating good going into Midnight. I've heard all mage specs piss easy, but not giving them a go. Yeah, I mean, again, thing is, like, anyone that mains a spec and has mained a spec full time at this point, they're going to know all the little intricacies, all the little min-max details of their spec. Midnight has removed a lot of that for every single class. So, of course, a one trick or a main is going to find their spec so much easier and say it's easy. But I don't think that that is the case. Unholy's been massively changed. It's still not. I mean, the thing is like no spec in WoW is hard anymore. Anyone can pick up any spec, but I think Unholy's definitely more complicated than it was in the War Within. Zwen, he ran away. He ran away to Conduit, didn't he? Glad there's a bunch of easy classes to choose from. This boomer needs to pick a main. Let's go. What you leaning towards, Peachy? I think people are focusing too much on the buzzwords harder and whatnot. Like it's relative, yeah, Feral's easier than the War. Yeah, the general premise, and it like it's kind of the unspoken rule that everything is easier in Midnight compared to the War Within. Bam, 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 bam. Why do you find Unholy to be harder? Mainly Pestilence. I think it's a very overwhelming rework to people that have played it before. I mean, I've got, like, you can go check the VOD for why I ranked it in harder. I can't remember exactly what I said, but yeah. Arm's probably harder to play well than Fury. Yeah, I mean, again, like you are a warrior die-hard main, aren't you? So you're going to be min-maxing to the 99th percentile. Is that a bit generous? What's up, Cedric? I don't know what I'm going to main yet. Yeah, definitely. Seb. Not having weak auras playing the game for you means that you can shift difficulty back to boss mechanics. Yeah. I mean, some specs still do have complexity, though, for sure. Arcane is not one of the easiest, JB. You are crazy. I agree with Enhanced. I do agree with Enhanced. You were a big MM Hunter player. What's going to replace him for you to play? I don't know what I'm going to be maining yet. I'm not sure. I will not have a main until Season 3, as Red just said. Hey, what's up, Clear? All mage specs have some sort of skill ceiling, but Arcane to do damage right now is easy, but to be min-max good, it's a lot harder than people think. I actually have... How do you watch other people's streams while you're streaming? That is so cooked. Is Sandlane the go-to hero choice? Wait, what was this? Yeah, Sandlane is the choice for for Unholy right now. Okay. Let's move over to the mage specs then, starting with Arcane. So, Arcane, much like every other spec in the game, has become much more simplified going into Midnight. And it has been, I mean, I feel like for a while now, Arcane has just been simplified over and over the years. Recently, they've lost Nether Precision, which was a buff that you had to consume between every single barrage. They lost Intuition, which was a proc you had to react to for your barrage as well. So they've lost a lot of complexity, though I would still not say it's an easier spec when we compare it with other specs. There's many different builds you can play with Arcane right now, but the rules basically stay the same as a general rule for the spec, whether you're playing the Orb build or the Missiles builder build. The basic idea for Arcane is to stay at 4 Arcane charges as much as you can. So you only really want to spend on Barrage when you can pretty much guaranteed get back up to or as close to 4 Arcane charges as possible. So if you have a clear casting proc, then dependent on your build, you're either going to be able to fire Arcane Missiles. In AoE, that's going to get you straight back up to max Arcane charges because of the new Aether Attunement. Aether Attunement makes sure Arcane Missiles cleave on the mobs around it every single time. It used to happen only every 4 or 5 Arcane Missiles, but now your missiles are always AoE based as long as you're talented into that talent. With the Arcane Orb build, where you go down the right side, it now means that you use your clear casting procs on Arcane Orb instead of missiles. So you literally do not press missiles with this build. And again, if you have orbs available, then you can spend on Barrage because you're going to be able to get straight back up to your 4 Arcane charges. That is also relevant for single target as well, because when you consume clear casting with your Arcane Orb with this build, it fires 2 additional orbs through the mob. So before, if you would get a proc of like an Orb Barrage or send an Arcane Orb, you would get up to 2 Arcane charges. So then you would need to blast to get up to 4, and then you can continue with your rotation. Now, if you use Arcane Orb with your clear casting proc, you're going to get straight back up to 4 Arcane charges, so you can continue with the rotation straight away again. So you only really want to spend when you can get back up to 4 Arcane charges. Another thing that plays into that is Arcane Salvo. So I think it's your Arcane Blast and some other abilities build up your Arcane Salvo, which increases the damage of your next barrage. At 20 stacks, that hits even harder because of the new Intuition, which is just added damage. But if you're talented into Orb Barrage, down in the bottom right, every single stack of Arcane Salvo that you get also increases the chance that your next barrage will also fire an Arcane Orb. So once you get to 20 stacks of Arcane Salvo is another condition to when you would want to spend your Arcane Barrage to again get back up to those 4 Arcane Charge stacks so that you're dealing maximal damage. If you don't have a clear casting proc or you don't have a way to get back to 4 Arcane Charges, then what you want to do is spam Arcane Blast into the priority target until you proc a clear casting or until you build up to maximum salvo stacks, and then you can start spending again. So there is quite a bit to keep track of on Arcane, and there's a few conditions that you have to be aware of to actually get the most out of the spec. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what I said, Noah. Right? Is you're going to spend at 20 stacks of Arcane Salvo because you then have an 80% chance to fire an Arcane Orb anyway. But also the Intuition and the added damage from the Salvo just makes Barrage hit like a truck. You're basically permadead, which is a lot harder. I don't know whether to include defensives or not. I mean, I guess that does. Yeah, I probably will mention that for Mage, actually. There's also, and like I mentioned, there is a few different builds. There's another build as well where you can consume your Arcane Charges with Arcane Missiles. I hope to God that this does not become the meta build because it just feels jank. I mean, to be honest, for me, even the Arcane Orb build feels a little bit jank because it feels like you can spend on Arcane Barrages a lot less, and it means that you're going to have to start casting Arcane Blast. You do play Presence of Mind, so you do get two instant cast Arcane Blast to get back up to your 4 Arcane charges pretty quickly, but that's every minute. But I just do think that it feels quite janky in general, Arcane now. I much prefer the missiles build for Arcane. Single target is more of the same. You're just going to try and stay at 4 Arcane charges for as long as possible. You build to 20 salvo stacks. You don't have to worry about nether precision anymore. So you're going to be Arcane blasting up to 20 salvo stacks unless you can reliably build back to 4 Arcane charges. And then in terms of your cooldowns, the same goes. So you're going to have your 1.5 minute main burn with your Arcane Surge and your Touch of the Magi paired together. 45 seconds later, you're going to have a mini burn where you send your Touch of the Magi by itself, and then that will pair up nicely with your next Arcane Surge again. So what this does actually mean is even if the pack is about to die, but your Magi comes up, you may as well pretty much just send it, because the longer you wait on your Magi, you're either just not going to be able to send a mini burn, or you're then going to have to push back your next Arcane Surge to pair them back up again. That might work out in some scenarios where you might want to delay your next Arcane Surge a little bit, but for the most part, even if you're not going to get the most out of your Magi, you probably just want to send your Magi on cooldown. You want to send it at that 45-second point so that you can pair it up with your next Arcane Surge. Outlaw is easier. Okay-ish APM with little complexity, but not much to talk about. If that's your opinion, that is your opinion, my friend. Outlaw Rogue is not an easy spec. It might even be the hardest spec in the game. I don't know. Outlaw is very fast-paced. It's one of the most fast-paced specs in the game. It's up there with Fury, but you actually have to think about things with Outlaw. Depends what enhance you're talking about. I think Totemic enhance would be closer to Outlaw, but Stormbringer enhance is just spam Stormstrike and win. It feels so bad not having shifting power. Yeah, I do kind of miss it, but I don't at the same time. So that is the basis of Arcane. I would say it's one of the more complex specs in the game. Hero talent-wise, you have Sun Fury, which gives you your Arcane Soul window after your Phoenix fade. So you want to be spamming Barrage in there, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to overcap on clear casting procs during that. So you would send, like, let's say 3 Barrages. That'd get you maximum stacks of clear casting. Then you'd fire it off an Arcane Missiles, and then you then can fire off another Barrage. When it comes to Spellslinger, a lot of the tree is passive. The only thing that you really interact with is the Arcane Orb cooldown reduction. So you want to make sure that you're never really sitting onto charges of Arcane Orb, because you're going to get a lot of cooldown reduction. You can literally see it like spin back round as you get the procs. So that's just going to be more Arcane Orbs, which means that you can spend on more Barrages. Is there... Oh... And then I haven't really mentioned defensives for any of the other classes except maybe Ret, but I do want to mention it with Mage as a whole, because Mage has gotten considerably squishier in Midnight. It is now definitely one of the squishiest specs in the game, completely fitting that class fancy vibe of the glass cannon. If you don't make good usage out of your alter time, you feel it. You are going to fall over. And alter time is a very proactive defensive. You have to be very wary of your position, your health, the incoming damage. Therefore, that makes, in turn, making it a pretty difficult defensive to use in comparison to, let's say, like a bubble or just a flat damage reduction. You need to snapshot back to your correct health and location at the right time. There might have been a frontal that you need to keep an eye on over there that you might snap back into and just die anyway. And outside of that, you have a barrier that gets munched super quickly, and you have Ice Block on a long-ass cooldown. So defensively, the skill ceiling is super high for all of the Mage specs as well. I think that was the case anyway, but they've lost even more defensive. So I think that does just make it harder in general. For the Arcane Mage, I am going to put it in the harder tier, just behind Feral, but just a little bit harder than the Unholy DK. Let's hope for some buffs for the Havoc DH Cedric. But Arcane is easy now. Arr. Every spec should be an easiest, true? Let me see your 100 passes on every spec. Let me see them. Let me see them. Right, next up we have the Fire Mage. Now, Fire is actually pretty simple rotationally. Like, in terms of buttons, it is almost like a 2-button spec. What makes this spec harder is how reactive it is and how fast-paced it is, especially inside your combustion window. You are going to be spamming your spenders, which would be your Flame Strike or your Pyroblast, and in between that, you're going to be pressing your Fire Blast. Now, I think what people do forget is Fire Blast is off the GCD and can be cast while casting other spells. I think a lot of people don't get the most out of Fire Mage because they simply don't press their buttons fast enough. I think that is actually a big problem. Going into Midnight, they lost Phoenix Flames, so there's one less core rotational button there. Instead, you're just going to be spamming Fire Blast. Fire Blast comes back so quickly, so you're just going to be spamming that over and over again with your finishers, as I just said. Oh, shit, I was going to go somewhere with that. I can't remember what I was going to say. Are you nearly always in combustion windows? No, you are not. No, you are not. And then outside of combustion, you're just fishing for crits. Every fireball that doesn't crit, you get an increased chance on your next fireball to crit. And then when you do crit with your fireball, you want to be chaining another fireball on the back of that. And then during this second fireball is when you're going to use your Fire Blast, because remember, you can use it while casting other abilities. And then at the end of that second fireball, you're going to want to fire off your spender, whether it's your Pyroblast or your Flame Strike. I'm not entirely sure if there's a certain target count where you start just hard casting Flame Strike instead. But for the most part, you're going to be chaining these fireballs back to back because that's going to allow you to get more hot streaks out because they might end up both critting and then you can fire off like 2 pyros back to back, right? You know, yeah, I am listening. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So yeah, that is fire rotationally. You still have Scorch, so when you get into execute range, you're going to start scorching. Oh, that's what I was going to say. In your combustion windows, because you don't have Phoenix Flames anymore, like I said, you do get a lot of Fire Blast, so it's not too much of an issue, but you will start having to cast your Scorches inside your combustion window to get those extra crits. You want to make sure that you're Scorching instead of Fireball, purely because everything's going to crit, and Scorch is a faster cast time than your Fireball. I think a lot of Fire's complexity came from their cooldown management and usage, but you have nowhere near as much control over your cooldown management or usage anymore because you lost all of your cooldown reduction for your combustion. So you're kind of just down to the mercy of your tank or how long the pulls last, what kind of level of key it is. So there's not really much outplay potential there. I mean, you could argue there's some difficulty there in the fact that you might just have to do no damage for the end of this pack because you know you're going into the next pack, you're going to want your combustion back, and you are not in combust as anywhere near as much as you used to be. Is there anything complex for Crossfire? In terms of hero talent, Sun Fury is a similar story to Arcane. Outside of your Phoenix, you have the Hypothermia window, where you're just going to be slamming down Flame Strikes or Pyroblast back to back. not too much to think of there. Your Fire Blasts are going to cool down meteorites for some extra damage, and then for Frostfire, it's just when you get your Frostfire empowerment buffs, your Frostfire Bolt becomes much more prio, but that's also going to help with your critical strike generation, which is going to smooth out your rotation a little bit more. So for the Fire Mage, I think it is easier than the Arcane Mage. I'm going to put it in the mid tier. I think a lot of Fire's complexity has died because you don't have as much control over your cooldowns anymore, that being Combustion. Mage also lost a lot of defenses, which compared to... Yeah, I've touched on that already. Bro, nobody cares that much about Mage. What's your main, Viram? How's Prot Pally and Destrolot doing? Keep seeing different shit. Prot Pally does a lot of damage, but I think it's going to struggle to live in higher keys. Destro is shit on single target, but like overall damage will be decent. Isn't Mage like the most popular spec? Nah. I would say Mage is one of the more popular specs in the higher end of content, but as an overarching rule, I don't think Mage is that popular, I wouldn't say. Even with Diabolus build. I don't know. I don't know if I played that one. But yeah, I think I have. Yeah, Destroy single target just ain't good. Last up for the mages, then, we have the Frost Mage. Now, this has been heavily reworked going into Midnight, and it's a pretty simple builder-spender now. You lost your big 2-minute cooldown with Icy Veins, and arguably your main cooldown now is Ray of Frost, although it doesn't really feel like a cooldown in that it doesn't really buff anything. Ray of Frost turns into Comet Storm after you use it, so you need to remember to use your Comet Storm when that is available, because that consumes your new freezing mechanics. So freezing has been somewhat reworked going into Midnight, so most of your damaging abilities now apply freezing to the target, except Ice Lance. Ice Lance is the only ability that doesn't do that. Ice Lance and Comet Storm consume these stacks of freezing to shatter them for big AoE damage. So Ice Lance, I mean, pretty much every... This is really fucking throwing me off. Is that picking up my mic chat? Can you hear that? Okay, it's not picking up, good. What was I yapping about? So Ice Lance and Comet Storm consume your freezing stacks to deal shatter damage, which is one of your main damage sources. So you're going to be constantly firing off Ice Lances throughout your rotation to consume up to 5 stacks of freezing and 1 global press. Well, I guess up to 10, because Ice Lance cleaves on 2 targets. Your Flurry cleaves on 2 targets now as well. Flurry is a big part of your rotation. Your Glacial Spike and also your Frostbolt also cleave on up to 2 targets. So you're going to be doing work on 2 target cleave. Glacial Spike replaces your Frostbolt, so there's one less button there, and it happens just basically passively build up these icicles. Once you're at 5, turns into a Glacial Spike. However, Glacial Spike used to be a consumer of your freezing debuff rather than a builder. Right now, if you're not talented into Glacial Shatter, your Glacial Spike by default is going to apply stacks of freezing instead. So just bear that in mind. But on single target, you might talent into Glacial Shatter, which then makes your Glacial Spike consume your freezing stacks instead. The other cooldown that you have is Frozen Orb on a 1-minute cooldown. So Frozen Orb still makes your Blizzard instant cast, and you never want to be sat on your Blizzard cooldown. It does a lot of damage in AoE. So you want to be firing off this instant cast Blizzard whenever you can. However, Blizzard no longer reduces the cooldown of your Frozen Orb. So you don't need to worry about cooldown reduction on your Frozen Orb. It's just fire it off in AoE every minute. And you also lost the talent Coldest Snap. So in your opener, it's a lot more simple now. You don't have to Cone of Cold to reset your Orb and your Comet Storm. You're just going to fire off your Frozen Orb, put down a Blizzard. You're going to channel a Ray of Frost, and then that's going to turn into a Comet Storm. And you're going to consume as many freezing stacks as you can with that Comet Storm. But you want to make sure that you've built up a good few freezing stacks first. And then, yeah, outside of that, it's pretty much just spam Ice Lance. You will get cooldown reduction on your Frozen Orb if you're playing Spellslinger, so bear that in mind from your Splinters. And then Frostfire, basically just use your Frostfire Empowerment as a prio ability when you do get that proc. And that's going to cleave on 2 targets and apply a load of stacks of freezing. So that is the Frost Mage. Where are we going to put the Frost Mage, chat? I think Frost Mage is easier than Balanced Druid, but it's going to be a little bit harder than the Warrior spec. So it's going to go in the easier tier, pretty much slap bang in the middle. Oh yeah, Arcane and what was the other one you said? Demo are 100% getting nerfed. 100% are getting nerfed. Unholy might catch a nerf, but I feel like they might go under the radar a little bit. And I don't think Survival will get nerfed. I think Survival will be okay. Will be A-okay. No problem, Clear. No problem, Chief. Righty. Appreciate the follow. Bicep flex for red. Wallop. Oh, I need to go train tonight, actually. I need to go hit an upper sesh tonight. I had to do bench. I had to do barbell bench on Monday, chat. Gross. I've been doing incline dumbbells for the longest time, but I had to do flat barbell bench on Monday because it was so freaking busy. We got 100 for 8. We take those, but it's more my wrist than anything that feel weak. My ankle's still pretty fucked. It's definitely better, though. It's definitely better. I reckon in the coming days, the pain will stop, I reckon. Damn, the AoE cock reset felt good. Huh? I have mixed opinions, mixed feelings about the AoE cock reset. It was just so, like, repetitive. Pestilence 100% gonna get nerfed. I hope not. That ability is so fun to press. I've been trying to get Jake on gym, but he's not on it. Listen, we've got him up at 9 AM now, so baby steps, okay? He was going gym at one point, he said. Have you got wrist wraps? Nah. Mama ain't raised no bitch. £100 dumbbells for incline bench is great. Yeah, I finally got up to 50 kilos on incline dumbbells, which was nice. I only managed to get 2 sets of 7 on them. I normally go for 2 sets of 8. So I actually haven't completed the gym yet, but we're close. But then, yeah, I did 100 kilos on bench on Monday, on barbell bench. But now I don't use wrist wraps. Ooh, okay. The Shadow Priest. I think this is going to be a difficult one to place, I reckon. So what I will say is dot extension got a lot easier on Shadows. So they've got a new talent called Haunting Shadows, which we know and love. So basically your spirits that you are summoning, which your spirits are now summoned from your Shadow Word Madness, which is basically your Devouring Plague. These spirits are going to extend your dots. So in AoE, you really don't have to worry about maintaining and applying your dots. You're also just going to be sending your Tentacle Slams / your Shadow Crashes pretty much on cooldown because of your Apex talent. So you're going to be naturally just passively applying all your dots. Mass AoE for the Shadow Priest is a little bit difficult, and it takes some getting used to, because what you need to start doing is if there's more than, let's say, 12 targets, you're going to want to fade and then start applying Vampiric Touch to as many mobs as you can before you start Tentacle Slamming while your tank gathers up the pack. because otherwise you're not going to be able to get your dots on every single mob from your tentacle slams, because it is target capped to how many it applies it to. Shadow is now locked into Void Form, so Dark Ascension is no longer a thing. I think Void Form is the harder of the two, but it is definitely the more fun playstyle, and it is still a pretty fast-paced and reactive spec. However, I feel like all of the abilities kind of line up at the perfect time. I don't know how Blizzard have done it, but it seems that you get the procs at the right time. It seems like you build the perfect amount of insanity to where you're able to spend on Shadow Word Madness when you've got nothing else to press. But it is your basic builder spender of building with your Mind Blast and your Mind Flays and even your Tentacle Slams as well, and then spending with your Shadow Word Madness. I think because it's a dot spec by nature, that makes it a bit more difficult of a spec as well. In single target, you're probably going to swap over to that talent that increases the damage of your Shadow Word Pain. So you're going to have to manually apply both dots instead of just the one. But again, your spirits will extend that for yourself. Does utility you bring to Mythic Plus determine your main? Nah, not really. The main thing for me is just how fun the spec is and the class fantasy. What else is there? There's a little bit of min-maxing going on with your Shadow Word Death. Ideally, you'd probably create a mouse over macro for that so that you can snipe low HP targets when they're just about to die, because you're going to be wanting to send all of your DPS into your main priority target, which is likely still going to be healthy. So there's a little bit of min-maxing going on there. And then with the hero talents, they actually got pretty drastically changed. So Void Weaver now is the only spec of Shadow that has access to Void Torrent. That summons your Entropic Rift as well. As soon as that goes out, you want to start slamming Shadow Word Madnesses into your target to increase the size and damage of that Entropic Rift. However, what I did notice with that is it seems very easy to overcap on your Insanity when you're channeling your Void Torrent. Also, with your Void Torrent, you want to make sure that you have all 3 dots active on the target before you press it. That will also deplete your Insanity before you go into the Void Torrent as well. But that means that you're going to deal extra damage with your Void Torrent because of your Mastery. So that is pretty much it for Void Weaver. For Archon, Halo's pretty easy to use, pretty self-explanatory to use, right? But then you have access to Mind Flay Insanity. This is an Archon only thing. So this is an extra proc that you have to think about during your rotation. I think it still stacks up to 4 times, but that is just like another thing that you have to keep track of in the back of your head when playing the Shadow Priest, while not overcapping on Mind Blast charges, while dumping on your Shadow Word Madness charges, and also using Tentacle Slam to proc your Apex talent as well. So you're also going to want to use your Apex talent, or sorry, your Tentacle Slam on single target to again proc your Apex talent. So that's another button that you're consistently using on single target. Outside of that, and then inside your Void Form cooldown as well, your Void Form ability, instead of turning into Void Bolt like it used to, it now turns into Void Volley. So just make sure you're using that, and you also have a talent that allows you to use it one more time after you fall out of your Void Form cooldown. Is there anything else that I'm missing for Shadow? What's up, Morcam? Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, Mind Blast, Void Blast. Shadow Word Death, Mind Flay. I think that's it, right? Waiting patiently, hoping for Ellie to be in the top half and not the bottom of this. You're good, Chief. You're good. Don't you worry. Yeah, that is the detriment of the Shadow Priest, is its interrupt. It's not ideal for Mythic Plus by any means. But yeah, the main thing with the Shadow Priest is, especially after the recent tuning, just having your dots on everything, because otherwise you are going to lose a lot of damage from Psychic Link. But once you've got your dots rolling, then you're pretty much good to go, because you're going to be tentacle slamming and your spirits are going to be extending the duration of your dots anyway. I think for the Shadow Priest, I'm actually going to put this in the harder tier. There is quite a lot to keep track of. Mobility is not great for it as well, so therefore positioning becomes a lot more relevant. I'm going to put the Shadow Priest in the harder tier. Do we think that's fair, chat? Oh, yeah, for sure, middle. The Shaman visuals and audio feedback is up there with the greats. No. Where would you put it? I wish they incorporated the Season 3 Void Weaver set bonus. Void Blast was a minigun. Oh, thanks, Seb. Yeah, Enhance is a lot more simplified in Midnight. I'd say harder is fair. Yeah. Did you see what I said about T? No? He didn't say anything about it. He said that when you're min-maxing, he thinks Enhance is similar to the War Within difficulty. Really? No way, right? I mean, obviously T knows what he's talking about. Right, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Oh, wait. One sec. Wait, why are Ring doorbells getting cancelled? God, can't do anything in the year 2026, can you? Right, next up we have the Elemental Shaman then, which has seen a lot of pruning, and it's gotten itself to a point where I think the rotation is pretty perfect, and in turn has made the spec a lot easier. So, Echoes of the Sundering, Echoes of the Great Sundering. So, Echoes of the Great Sundering has gone. So, AoE just means that you're slamming down earthquakes. You no longer have to maintain your Echoes buff by elemental blasting in between, which also means that you're a lot mobile in turn with that as well. Deeply Rooted Elements is gone. Well, not gone, but you're not talenting into that right now. Wait, has Deeply Rooted Elements gone for Ellie? Fucking hell. Yeah, it has. Wait, let me see. Let's have a little looky, shall we? Shaman. Yeah, it has gone. Okay, I was right. Oh my god, my PC just had a fucking aneurysm. Wait, let me check actually. Am I... Okay, yeah, I'm good on space. Nice. So yeah, Deeply Rooted Elements is gone as well, so you don't need to worry about that proc. That generated you a shit ton of Maelstrom as well, so you don't need to worry about that. Ice Fury and Frost Shock have gone as well, which is actually huge for the spec. This removes a lot of complexity, especially for single target. And I think you would also use Ice Fury in AoE when you had to move. So that's been got as well. That's been got rid of. So we don't have to worry about that. And then Liquid Magma Totem has basically just been replaced with Voltaic Blaze. So Voltaic Blaze is now your Flame Shock, but it AoE applies your Flame Shock on up to 6 targets. That then makes your next Lava Burst hit all of those targets with an AoE Lava Burst. Fucking hell, I literally cannot concentrate. I'm going to do that bit again, I think. So yeah, Deeply Rooted Elements is gone, so that's one less proc that you have to keep track of. That generated you a shit ton of Maelstrom, so it's pretty easy to overcap on Maelstrom there. They also removed Ice Fury and Frost Shock, which is huge for the spec, because that makes your single target rotation a lot more forgiving. And you would also press Ice Fury in AoE if you ever had to move as well. So you don't need to worry about that. A lot of button bloat has been removed for the Elemental Shaman, which is super nice. And that is also true for Liquid Magma Totem. That has been replaced by your Voltaic Blaze. But Voltaic Blaze is basically just your Flame Shock. But it's an AoE Flame Shock. So you apply Flame Shock in one global press to 6 mobs. And then that buffs up your next Lava Burst to hit those up to 6 targets, I think, with that Lava Burst. I've personally been saving Lava Surge procs for those AoE Lava Bursts so that I can just fling it off, get all that Maelstrom, slam down Earthquakes, get Aftershock procs, slam down more Earthquakes. It's a pretty simple builder, spender spec now. You're just building up with Chain Lightning and Lava Bursts, maintaining your Flame Shocks, and then spending on Earth Shock on single target or Earthquake on AoE. Because of the AoE Lava Burst that you get as well, I think that's just going to, by default, make you want to play the talent that buffs up your Lava Burst damage, which is on the choice node with Master of the Elements. Master of the Elements makes it so that your Lava Burst buffs up the damage of your next ability, which is quite a tricky maintenance buff to keep track of and actually utilize to the fullest. So, again, in turn, that makes things a lot easier for the Ele Shaman, because you've been playing Master of the Elements for as long as I can remember now, so getting rid of that is going to make the spec much more simple. When you're playing Stormbringer, you just basically use Tempest when that is procced, regardless of single target or AoE. That's a completely random proc now, so you just send that whenever you can. That's going to give you a Stormkeeper charge, so you're going to fire off the Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt anyway, but you would have done that anyway. With Stormbringer as well, you do also talent into Lightning Rod, and you go down the left side of the tree, so you want to be getting Lightning Rod on as many targets as possible. When it comes to Farseer, just use your Ancestral Swiftness on cooldown pretty much. It's only a 30-second cooldown, so does it even really count as a cooldown? I'm not sure. But you're just going to send that and get as many Ancestors out as you can. I think that's pretty much it. Your Fire Ele is now baked into your Ascendants. Your Storm Ele is now baked into your Stormkeeper. So that's one less button to press there. Is there anything else? I'm not too sure. I think for the Ele Shaman, we're going to put this in the easier tier. It's definitely gotten heaps easier going into Midnight. We're going to put it in between Frost Mage, but I do think that Boomy is probably harder than Ele Shaman now, I would say. Maybe I'll put it just in front of Boomy, actually. Put Windwalker higher, mate. You reckon Windwalker's easy, do you? Fire and mid. Yeah, but this is easiest to hardest. It's not mid in terms of performance. It's dog shit in terms of performance. Yeah, T, I probably will do that. I don't know what I'm going to do that on, but I probably will do that. Right then, let's move on to our last class, which is the Warlock. So, starting with the Affliction Warlock, we've had a complete rework going into Midnight, and we're back to the Legion Affliction Warlock, which we all know and love. This is much more dot-based. However, Corruption pretty much takes care of itself in AoE, because in AoE, you're going to be spamming Seed of Corruption back to back. That is going to be your AoE spender. So you're constantly going to be reapplying your corruption. So that kind of just takes care of itself. When it comes to Agony, though, you are much more of a dot spec. Vile Taint is gone, thank the heavens. So you don't need to worry about the cooldown timing with that. That was dog shit anyway. But this does mean that you need to manually apply and maintain your Agonies. So this is something that you're going to need to get used to with the timing, but this is the only real dot that you need to focus on now. And it also applies 2 Agonies for every time you press it. So it's going to apply to 2 enemies. I'm sure there will be a point of diminishing returns. I imagine, I'm not sure, but I imagine that you'd probably want to apply like 5 total Agonies. So that would be 10 total Agonies. That will take care of your soul shard generation. But then Agony does pump. But there's obviously going to come a point where you don't want to just keep applying Agonies, because then the first ones that you apply are going to fall off by the time you apply the last ones, and you're not going to be able to spam the seeds. So yeah, I think because of that, I think it's made the spec a little bit more difficult, because you are going to need to maintain those Agonies, keep them at high stacks as well. You will be punished if they fall off, because they will have to ramp up in damage again. But yeah, the basic premise of the Affliction Warlock right now is apply and maintain your dots. You're then going to use Haunt on your priority target, but make sure that it has Corruption on it first for some extra damage from, I think it's your Apex talents. It procs a little cleave off of that. Then on single target, you're going to dump your soul shards with your Unstable Affliction. You're going to fill with Drained Soul. You're going to consume your Nightfall procs with your Drained Soul. And then on AoE, which I believe is 2+ targets now, you're going to be spamming Seed of Corruption. Seed of Corruption now also consumes your Nightfall procs, so you have a way to consume your Nightfall on AoE. But with that, be careful, because the Soul Shard generation is insane, and sometimes it is pretty easy to overcap on Soul Shards. So you want to be spamming out those Seeds of Corruption as much as you can. And then you have the new ability, Dark Harvest, which you basically just want to send once you've got everything dotted. So get a Seed of Corruption out, explode that, get Corruption on everything. Then you can send the Dark Harvest. Your spenders, so your Seed of Corruption and Unstable Affliction, are going to reduce the cooldown of your Dark Harvest, so keep an eye on that. And you'll also want to use your Dark Harvest ability when you're low on Soul Shards, ideally, because during its channel, it is going to generate you Soul Shards if you're talented into Soul Harvester, the hero talent. So the Seeds is the best playstyle. You know your stuff, King. You know your stuff. Hey, what's up, baby? Nebula, how's it going, my friend? Yeah, Dark Harvest is super fun. I feel like the animation for Dark Harvest was a lot more poggers before. I don't know, maybe it was the size, maybe it's because I first saw it on dummy, so they're bigger, so the animation was bigger. I ain't too sure. But Dark Harvest needs some insane audio feedback, and that would just be one of the most satisfying buttons to press in the game. Wait, does Dark Harvest heal you? Is that a thing? So I think because it is a dot spec, I think that inherently just makes specs harder. Sorry, Asa Rogues. But because you actually have to keep an eye on your agony timers, I think it makes app a little bit harder. But in AoE, you are just spamming Seed of Corruption, basically. You want to maintain your haunts. I'm not sure, maybe in higher keys, you would Unstable Affliction your prio target for some extra priority damage, but I don't know if that's even going to be worth it. I think the Affliction Warlock I'm going to place in the mid tier. I think it's harder than the Frost DK, but it's not too difficult of a spec. I want to get in the game but have bad Carpal Tunnel. Are there any classes that I can play that are very low APM? I want to say maybe MM Hunter would be low APM now. Chat, anyone else know of any other low APM specs? That's big, T. I did not realize that it healed that much. That's insane. Arms Warrior? Yeah, potentially. Shit, I'm all nervous now because Baby Brain's here and I'm talking about his class. Shit. Next up, we have the Demonology Warlock, which has been very simplified coming into Midnight as well. I mean, it's the same story for everything, right? Lots of button pruning has happened to the Demonology Warlock. Your Charhound is now baked into your dogs. Your dogs are now completely free of soul shards if you're talented into that talent, and they're instant cast every time. So that makes dogs a lot easier to get out. Your Grimoire Felguard is gone as well. However, I wouldn't really call that prune because you do have access to a choice node where you can get a Grimoire Fel Ravager or a Grimoire Imp of some sorts. But that's like a 2-minute cooldown, set and forget. Your Fel Ravager does turn into a kick, weirdly, when it's on cooldown. So, I mean, I guess that could add complexity to the class because then you've technically got 2 kicks for that duration. So, there is that. SBA might be worth it. Wait, what's SBA? Oh, single button assistant. Yeah, but we're trying to pump, dude. Let's get to the true lock spec Destro. I feel like the true lock spec is AF. So that is the button pruning that we've had. Implosion is now on a 15-second cooldown. So also, I guess technically there's some button pruning here. Implosion and Power Siphon are on a choice node, so you can choose between them. Implosion is now on a 15-second cooldown, and it only implodes a maximum of 6 imps. So you pretty much send it on cooldown as long as you're blowing up 6 imps. I think it is even relevant to implode on single target as well, because with a specific talent, your imploded imps respawn as buffed imps, as imp gang bosses that deal even more damage. So, I mean, I personally find that quite fun, but that does add a little bit of complexity to the single target rotation as well. But outside of that, the opener, I feel like, is nowhere near as rampy as before. It doesn't feel like you've got as many globals to press. Your Tyrant now only extends your dogs if you're actually talented into that instead of all of your minions. However, your imps and dogs do increase the damage of your Tyrant, and your Tyrant can do some pretty respectable damage if you pick up the melee Tyrant. So you do want to try and get a few imps out before your Tyrant window. So fire off a few Demon Bolts first, and then a few Handicled Dans. There is some complexity in spreading your Demon Bolts as well. Ideally, you do want to spread your Demon Bolts so that you can get maximum amounts of dooms out on the different targets. They're constantly going to be ticking down for big damage there. But I would say that's probably the only real min-maxing part that you do need to think about. Outside of that, you're just going to build with your free instant cast Demon Bolts and your Shadow Bolts. You're going to use Hand of Gul'dan to summon your imps at 3 shards. You can now only use Hand of Gul'dan at 3 shards. Before, you could use it at 1 or 2 before, so that kind of makes that ability a little bit fail-safe. And then when it comes to your hero talents, Diabolist, you need to react appropriately to the procs that you get. So your Ruination isn't going to consume your soul shards, and you want to use that on a target that's inside the pack. Your Infernal Bolt is going to generate you some extra soul shards, so be aware of that. And then when it comes to Soul Harvester, you'll want to make sure that you don't have more than 2 soul shards before going into your Tyrant window, because your Tyrant is going to generate you 3 soul shards, and then you can start blasting. Is there anything else that I want to talk about there? I guess another ability that did get pruned, which I forgot to mention, is your Command Strength ability. So you don't have to worry about your Pet Blade storming anymore. I feel like that did add a little bit of complexity before, because sometimes your Felguard would be doing its own Fel Storm, and you would press your Command Strength keybind and it wouldn't go off, and maybe like you wouldn't notice. So, I mean, that's just one less thing to track as well, right? So, for the Demonology Warlock, ooh, this is a tough one, because I do feel like there is a lot of min-maxing to get out of the Demonology Warlock, but we're not necessarily talking about playing these specs at the 100th percentile. We're talking about them as a general easiest to hardest, okay? So, for the Demonology Warlock, I am going to place this spec. Ooh. Where are we going, chat? Where did I have it on there? I had it easier than AF. Pharaoh and harder. Yeah, Pharaoh is definitely one of the harder specs in the game. When are you going to play more PTR? We'll play some after this. Oh, this is tough, man. This is tough. I think because of the Tyrant windows. Ooh. Boom spreading makes it feel harder. Yeah, I mean, that is min-maxy, but that's not a hard thing to do, though, is it? I'm really struggling with where to put this. Yeah, Tyrants are definitely a lot easier than before. This is a tough one to rank, man. I think I'm going to go in the top of the mid tier. I think that's a fair point. It's kind of like a coward's way out, isn't it? Just put it slap bang in the middle. Yeah, mid. What about Destro, hey? Should we talk about how difficult Destro is? Nah, Destruction was already a very simple spec. And going into Midnight, again, has become much more simple. I feel like a broken record saying that. So your Conflagrate now acts like Fire Blast does for Fire Mage with their Ignite. So your Conflagrate is going to spread your Immolate passively on up to 3 nearby targets. So you only really have to worry about your Immolate or Wither duration on your main target, and kind of passively you will refresh and apply that dot to the targets that are around it. But it doesn't matter a whole lot anyway, because you are still running Cataclysm at the moment, so you're going to be applying your dots to everything, which also bridges the gap nicely between application. But the Conflagrate does bridge the gap quite nicely between your Cataclysms. That is the only real thing that you need to track. And outside of that, as long as you got your dots up, in AoE, you're going to spam Rain of Fire. You can talent into a talent where your Rain of Fire becomes free, so watch out for procs of that. However, on AoE, I believe if you're talented into Mayhem or Havoc, you're going to be Chaos Bolting on up to 5 targets if you have your Havoc present. Wait, I want to do that bit again, because I was like burping and shit. Yeah, I actually don't think Frost DK is that easy. I think it's very reactive and very fast paced. You have like milliseconds to decide on your next button press, and you can lose a lot of damage if you get it wrong. So that's the only real thing that they need to track. Outside of that, I say outside of that all the fucking time as well. Jesus! In AoE, you're going to be spamming Rain of Fire. I mean, it's basically a meme at this point, isn't it? There's a talent where you get free Rain of Fires from that, so keep an eye out for that. However, I do believe you are meant to Chaos Bolt and up to 5 targets if your Havoc gets procced. Whether you're playing Havoc itself and you actually apply it, or whether you get a Mayhem proc, which is just a random Havoc proc, I believe you're then meant to Chaos Bolt. Don't quote me on that, but that does add a little bit of complexity. And then on single target, you're going to dot up the target, and then you're going to spam Chaos Bolts, build with Incinerates. With Diabolist, those Incinerates are going to turn into Infernal Bolts, which is going to increase the Soul Shard generation that you get. You do have a talent that makes your Incinerate have a chance to become instant cast. That actually also affects your Infernal Bolt. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but just be wary of that. So that speeds up the rotation a little bit there. And it's not so easy to see when you've got the Infernal Bolt. And then you're going to be dumping with more Chaos Bolts. That can turn into a Ruination. Again, that's not going to consume Soul Shards. So just be wary of your Soul Shard management with that. With Hellcooler, you're just going to pair up your Malevolence with your Infernal. Infernal is on a 1.5 minute cooldown, so you're going to send 1 Malevolence in between, and then you're going to get Malevolence procs as well. So that is the Destro Warlock. Where did I have that on my pre-made list? Yeah, I think I like it there. So that is the Destruction Warlock. This is definitely going in the easiest here. I'm going to put it behind Sub and Marksmanship because it does have a little bit of dot maintenance. I do think it is a little bit harder than those, but easier than the other specs. So that is every single DPS in Midnight ranked in terms of difficulty. So by far and away the easiest specs, and they maybe should have their own tier, is the Beast Mastery Hunter, the Devourer Demon Hunter, and the Retribution Paladin. I think the hardest specs in the game right now are the Shadow Priest, Feral Druid, and Outlaw Rogue. Maybe Outlaw could be in a league of its own down there in the hardest. I realize I don't have anything in the hardest, but I think that kind of makes sense with Midnight. The overarching premise is that everything got pruned. Blizzard's aim was to make all of the classes and specs feel a bit easier, right? So I think it makes sense that we don't have anything in the hardest tier. Like, comment, and sub. Cheers. And Twitch Prime to Vesperal TV. Cheers. There we go, chat. Tea potions with a tier 1, you bloody legend. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate that. Yeah, that took me a while. I think I'm just feeling like low energy today, so I think that's why. And then the follow after. What a chat. The sub before the follow. Let's go. Let's go, bro. Right. Should we jump into some beta action then? Let me do this. We'll fire up beta and we'll go and play some specs. Any specs that you guys want to see in particular? Spin the wheel for it. Well, if you guys want to see me play something in specific, then I'm down to do that. Let's do this. What is Jake saying? Let's knock on Jake's door. There we go. Right, chat, what should we play? That was for a thumbnail. Let's delete that shit real quick. Play all the hardest ranked ones. I can play a bit of Outlaw. I'd be down to play some Outlaw. What else was it? Feral. Jake will be on Feral. Hype train is started. Let's go. You need footage for something. I don't feel like I'm in the energy state to get a YouTube video right now. Oh, Arcane. We can play. Yeah, we'll do Arcane. What do you think will be your main from what you know now? Warlock's up there. Unholy DK's up there. Is Rogue up there? I don't know. No, I don't think Shadow Priest was ever up there, to be fair. I love Shadow Priest, but I would just be scared to main it, because if it's shit, I've got no other option on my class. Yeah, I don't really like this Arcane Orb build. Yeah, I feel like I can see myself a lot. I feel like Mage could creep in last second. I don't know. Does anybody know what stats I want as Arcane? Oh shit, wait. Seb, can I craft real quick? Right, let's open that up. Hey, what's up, Chris? How's it going, Chief? Yeah, it's going well, my friend. It's going well. Right, I want to do this. What are you up to? Are you still... I feel like you're still playing retail, aren't you? You crazy fool. Marine? Sebi DK. Why have you logged on Sebi DK? Oh, for... Okay. Yeah, I see you. Haste Mastery. I mean, I've got no other option. I'm just going to have to trust you. WDK. What was that? Okay. That player doesn't have the necessary professions. Is that good? Yeah, nice, man. Be on that midnight grind. Thoughts, Seb? You think Arcane gameplay is fun? It feels clunky to me. I don't really like it. Someone got farm mounts from the mythic bosses for people. Ugh, gross. People want to see Arcane. I haven't played Arcane in a while as well, so I'm happy to try it out. Looks like we're going Mysara Caverns. What's up, Jaff? Jaff, you play Arcane, don't you? Or have I made that up? I'm using Play T, Sidon. Is Org Evoker any good? Yeah, they're good right now. There we go. Nice. Right, Haste Mastery, you reckon? Is what I want. Silver Moons, Alacrity. 2 of them. Okay. I want to see Dominators all 3 rogue specs. Should we just fill in for JPC? Yeah, I do. Been playing Frost recently. Arcane is so much more fun. I'm not a fan of this. Look at this filth. Getting a battle shout in so he can pad his damage. Yeah, I don't really know if I vibe with this Arcane Orb build. Jake, did you get shit on the damage meter earlier by Gingy? I'm not like I'm asking like because of the spec. I'm not blaming. I'm asking because of how bloody broken the spec is. Haste. You've been playing Sun Fury. Is that going to be the missiles build? Like, are you playing high voltage? Yeah, Hunter feels bad, man. It's so oversimplified. It's gross. MM's kind of satisfying to me, though. I don't know why, but it just is. Survival feels really good, but BM I wouldn't touch with the fucking 10-foot barge pole. Might be a dumb question, but how do you change positioning of the cooldown manager? You go /BCDM, and then you want to go... here, and then change the Y offset. I think that's what it is. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Wait, I saw Gingy using crit mastery. Yeah, the tier list is finished, my friend. Oh, I should update my title. Whoopsie. Oh no, I can't update my title. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm trying to play beta, but when I log in, I don't see those VODers in the middle. So you want to pick Midnight Beta, and then you want to play on Xal'atath's endgame. Yeah, I'll be turning it into a video. Of course I will, Caden. I think I want more crit, man. I think I've been skamazed here. I mean, I guess I could do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Chat, by the way, You're talking to a rank 1 sleeper right now. Is this going to leak anything? It'll load. Look at that shit. Look at that sleep score right there. 98-98. Holy. 98% sleep performance, 98% recovery. Sheesh. So you think Augment will be S tier? When the hell did I say that, my friend? You clearly haven't watched my power tier list video, have you, buddy? Buster? What the hell is that? Oh. Okay. Right, how the fuck do I play this spec again? What is that sleeper app? It's Whoop. This device on my arm monitors like my heart rate, my sleep. It measures everything. What do you think? You didn't do range DPS tier list, only melee. No, my friend, you've got it all wrong. I did do a power tier list for everything. And yesterday was not a power tier list, it was how difficult the specs are. I hate it, Caden, I hate it. I much prefer the missiles build. What's the hate with Arms Warrior? What are people not liking? Or is it just shit? I don't think it's that bad, is it? Yeah, it's cooler and it also just flows so much better. Arcane Orb ain't it. But what they should have done is if you have clear casting. Huh? Nice ring. Oh, he means my... Okay, yeah. Never mind. What they should have done is you can use Arcane Orb if you have clear casting, because you need 2 conditions to be true for the Arcane Orb build. Slams hit harder than Multi-Strike on live. Yeah, but it's live, my dude. If that was the case on beta, then fair, but it's pre-patch. Pre-patch is a meme. Right, some Spellslinger Arcane. Let's pump on this broken spec. I don't know what the pool is here. Wait, what? Did I lag there? Why did my orb not fire off? We pumping? We kind of pumping.
Only the strongest survive.
Squishy mage, squishy mage. God, they hurt, don't they? So like here, I send my Magi chat, because otherwise, oh shit, I have messed up there though. Oh god, oh we've really botched that up. But I have to send my Magi there. Although it dies before the Magi actually goes off, it means I don't have to delay my next surge. You see me? Demo's worse than Arcane. What, as in like OP, or you mean it's actually worse? Oh wait, I was clicked on the wrong bloody mob. Oh! Why is that like the only frontal in the game that doesn't show? Oh, do you mind? It's like the only frontal in the game that doesn't show a frontal. Oh, so weird. Wait, did I not? I didn't send any cooldowns there. Why am I doing this much damage? It's got to be splinters, right? That is a joke. I think they should give back DR for mirror image. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, goddamn. Pick that.
Your survival wasn't necessary.
Did I have my barrier there? Fuck that roar. That roar hits so fucking hard. Oh god. See, this is what I mean. Like, to play mage now, you have to be good with your ult time. And I ain't good with that shit when I'm... Oh, my tank's dead. Can we reset? Little reset angle? No, like, I could... Like, that's the thing is, if I'm a good player, I live that. Because I just alter time the raw. And I will alter time the raw now. Should we reset? But when it's first key of the day, I haven't played mage in a while. I am pretty shit with mage defensives anyway. Darren, appreciate the follow. Yeah, exactly. And also, I got unlucky with both raws. At the same time, I had a fucking spear thrown at me in the same millisecond. Oh, my ankle. Yeah, I don't like how reliant you are on Ore Barrage. Right, let's actually lock in. Real mages don't use the... Oh. Is that good? How's this Fury? How was the Fury doing there? I didn't see. Was the Fury doing some pump? Which mage do you think will be brought to the Race of the World first? Not a clue. It's way too early to tell. Right, now they're back in. Just depends what's going to be the strongest. Cross Mage is the strongest defensively, we know that for certain, but yeah, we don't know. What's up, Daniel? Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't get changes yesterday. I think everyone was surprised that we didn't. Arcane will get nerfed. Unholy will probably get nerfed. Demo will get nerfed. Right, let's run it up. Run it up, run it up, run it up. I just wish Mirror Image still was a defensive. That's all I'm asking for. Because right now it feels absolutely useless. Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Oh, see, that is the problem with... that is the problem with Alter Time. I try and use it, and I get bloody punished for it. What is all that about? Alright. Oh my good heavens, man. Why does that hit so hard? Right, we're going to send Magi here. Jesus Christ. No wonder I'm dying to it. It's insane. I don't actually know how splinters work. They... Oh, it's okay. It's big splinters on Arcane Surge. Understood. I'm scared. Oh, wait, you can play on the training dummy for some extra free cleave. Fogger's in the lair. Right, I'm not going to send here because we're going to do a big pull next. We send. We didn't get a Override proc off of that. I feel like Arcane Salvo max stack should 100% be an Override proc, guaranteed. Yeah, that would do wonders for the spec. Right, we're going to save this orb, and we got big damage for the next room. Nice. Right, let's put you on the focus. Kick that. Gonna alter time. Alter back. Kick that. See, we got some nice procs there, and the spec actually felt good, but Arcane is so reliant on procs to feel good. I don't like it. I don't like this build. Ah, shit. See, I didn't get proc there, and now it feels dog shit. I'm dead. I'm dead. Those spears are terrifying, man. I'm so squishy. I'm just dead. Lovely GS. These mobs are terrifying. I actually don't mind Presence of Mind. Presence of Mind is actually coming in a little bit clutch here. Great alter time use. Thank you, King. Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of knowing the dungeons and feeling a little bit comfy, you know? I feel like Mage will get its defensive sorted, I can't lie. I feel like the barrier just also feels like it does nothing. 130k, I mean, is that a lot? I don't know. Right, big cooldowns again. Wallop.
Only the strongest survive.
Project your frontals, Blizzard. But why is it so inconsistent? Why does everything else in the game have a frontal cone except that? And also, I pressed alter time as it jumped to me. Is that good? Ow. I missed Nether Precision, man. Which are the lowest APM specs right now? You guys are loving this question. I think MM Hunter, Arms Warrior, I don't really know what else. Right, ascend that. Stopping that shit. Right. Wait. Right, now we're gonna pump. Big damage. Oh my god, where did my target go? It vanished. It disappeared. It's nowhere to be seen. Demo has to be up there. Yeah, Demo could be up there. I don't really know. I'm not great at knowing APM specs, but there's literally websites that find that out for you, right? Right, I can send a mini burn here. A kick in that. Ascending. Oh, I got lucky. See, that only felt okay because I got lucky there. Oh, shit. Health bot. Wait, is Uber from stream? I recognize Uber's name. I think he signed up to Jake's Key the other day. Because don't they play with an Uber on live? Yeah, just in case we were below count, guys. Yep, correct. My major cooldowns were on 1.5 minutes, my friend. What's going on? Oh. Oh. That go off? I don't know what that does to me. Oh my god, what is this damage, man? I'm not like I'm not even pogging out about it because it's just ridiculous. Look how much lower my pro target's health is. Insane. No All Barrage Proc GG. I don't know if I should spend on 2 there or not. I don't think that I probably should. I think I need to Arcane Blast more, but it feels weird to Arcane Blast without Nether Precision. Give me it back. Oh shit, I should have spent a long time ago there. I just feel so squishy, man. I tried to use Alter Time, but one tick of that, and I was dead. See, I got lucky with all procs there. I don't know if I should be spending on 2 charges. I'm not sure. What is this damage, man? This is just ridiculous. See that blink? That's some fired up shit right there. Don't worry. I got touch with the Magi on it. It's dead. Blink and it's dead. Well, yeah, Splinters are so broken. Let's have a look at my damage breakdown there. I do like Arcane Orb doing that much damage. I just don't like how it interacts with the gameplay. How is Sin Rogue low APM? I feel like Sin Rogue probably is low APM. Just because you're maintaining bleed doesn't mean it's high APM. Lust this. Oh god. Can I purge that? Oh, I can. Oh, but it does... I'm dead. Lusting. Oh, I've got a feeling I've hit the wrong target with this. I didn't know we were taking the mini boss as well. G frickin' G, man. Well, my prior target's dead. Was that good? Oh my god, my damage. Oh god, that is so cursed. Oh. Oh, I don't have kickback. I feel like I'm so... Hello? What does this do? Am I dead? I just got... Oh, Seb... Tiger's Fury me. Wonder if you can blink it. You could, is it stun? No, it's a root, right? I'm not sure. Why do you stack clear casting procs and don't send orbs with each stack? What are we talking about? I'm sending my arcane orbs with clear casting procs. Oh wait, am I playing like Kleptomania or something? Is he facing me? Knocking. A little bit of lag there. See, like, this is the thing, is everyone's like, oh, Vesp only finds the specs fun that are enjoyable. Blah, blah, blah. I'm enjoying the gameplay side of this, but I don't care that I'm absolutely stomping everyone on the meters, because it's just ridiculous. Oh shit. Alter back, insane at the video game. Yeah, it just doesn't feel rewarding that I pump. I mean, I'm not pumping right now, but... No, I mean, Unk is blasting. Mage main? I've been a mage main, Speedy. If you don't know, get to know. Wait, hang on a minute. You called me Unk. Flip. The funk. Prepare for the blast now. I popped ice block because I ain't dying inside my cooldowns, I'll tell you that much. Wait, Jake pumped there as well. Well done, buddy. Me. Oh, I can't kick it. Alright, we got a little magi. Little magi window. Is that good when those orbs just stay there? Imagine they just were like ticking it over and over again. That shit would be so boggers in the layer. Bending again. Kicking back. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Wait, what? My ult did go on cooldown there. I don't know. Yeah, I'll try and get into the next OnlyFans for sure. I think I could. Oh, it depends how Soda's going to do it, because I feel like he's not that fussed about WoW players doing it this time. But I would definitely be big interested in OnlyFans. Oh my god!
Only the strongest.
Well, that's a little bit of aggro, isn't it? My mirror image was on cooldown before any of you start. God, that's depressing. I was literally just about to press invis as well, but I didn't have the time. Bro's got motion. Wait, for real? For real? What's up? Why are you guys being so nice to me today? What's up? God forbid a white boy got a little motion. Where is that from? I've seen that. That is funny. Don't stop reanimates. Roger that. Roger that, soldier. Oh, I'm not buffed. With the removal of weak auras, I've been trying to make uninterruptible casts from mini bosses to pop out a layer in front. Is that on Platinator? You back off me. That's what you're doing right there. Right, are we doing the thing here? Or are we killing these here? I don't know, I'm all confuzzled. Kill the Hexer. Good comms, good comms. Okay, this is ridiculous. What is this spec? Wallop. That coming my way? Oh wait, I'm a mage. Wait, where did our ads go? Did they patch it? Or... Ah. Somebody kicked. GG. Oh. Is that good? Is that a good blink? W blink. Blocking, blocking. You know what's even greater about it? The other ad won't despawn now. It's alright. I'm the only damage in this run anyway, so just don't even worry about it. Wait, why did my blink? Why did my blink go there? I wasn't even aimed that way. Limit testing. Yeah, I like to phrase it like that as well, actually. All my ankles season up and doing all sorts of work. W blink. Wait, chat. I'll get him. Oh shit! What have I just done? Right, is he gonna jump down these stairs? Whee! Wait, I need to stop messing around. I'm not gonna time it. Oh no! Splinter Nerf will be next week, I reckon. I don't think we'll get changes this week. Lusting? Is that good lust? Boss is dead on my screen? What about yours? Oh shit, wait. Wrong mob. Oh! Oh, no way. I don't bloody believe it. Wait, why did that generate me so much? Yeah, I don't know. Why did I spend there, you muppet, imbecile, all of the above? I'm so squishy as a mage. It's insane. What's the most satisfying button to press in WoW right now? Boomstick would be up there, that's for sure. Dark Harvest probably would be up there. Oh! This dungeon needs to sort out its bloody frontals, mate, is what I'll tell you. Oh, shit. They got this, surely. If only Feral did any single target damage, hey? Wouldn't that be so crazy? Wait, pause. Insane. My goat. There it is, dude. W root as well, because I ninja pulled earlier. Is that good? Cobra shot. Root. Oh. Okay, I guess I send. Why am I just dead every time I put my cooldown? What the hell is up with that? Mass Invis, I'm talented into it. What's that noise? You guys hear that? It's like... Nothing like that, but... Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Is it splinters? Or is it a trinket? It might be the essence. Warning. Warning. I think it might be the trinket. Thanks for the follows, peeps. Oh! I'm so dead. Right, big pump. We kill the animals. I think they forgot the big pump part, chat. God, this thing is an absolute raid boss, isn't it? Oh, oh! My tank's gone. My tank has disappeared. No, Arcane's busted right now. Arcane is turbo busted. Do we have a CR? I don't know if we have a CR or not. What the hell? Yeah, this spec is gross right now. It hasn't even been a clean run either. Yeah, it's for sure gonna get a fang now. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Can't ping him. I hope so. I have mage fatigue. What, as in you don't want to play it or you're bored of it being meta? Was it even that meta in season 1? I feel like it wasn't. Season 1, The War Within. It was in season 1. Arcane. Did Arcane have its time to shine? Yeah, this playstyle is pretty fucking ass. They need to rework the right side. Big time. God, I feel like I just have zero energy today. Lost the damage amp. Good comms, good comms. Look, I can do that twice, and then I can't press it anymore. Oh, is that good? I don't even feel like I'm doing that much damage, but I look at the damage meter and it just says a very different story. Ain't no way. How do I not get a proc off of that? Oh, what the hell? Health pot? I don't know. Anything. Okay, right. Got cooldowns. Ah, my ankle, man. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh no. We missed it. Yeah, my whole UI is inside my Discord, Moon. All the strings are inside there, my friend. Exclamation mark Discord. Cheers, William. Really enjoy your content and videos, Best. Keep it up. Let's go, Bambus. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. You give Shadow too much credit. That spec is ass at the moment. It's good on AoE, but yeah, I will be updating that tier list. Yeah, single target is dog shite. Yeah, that's right, Jake. That's right, mate. Are you going to raid me and I'll raid you? Okie dokie. I don't know what Jake... Does Jake even eat on stream? How the fuck does he function? Like, if I don't eat for more than 2 hours, I'm a shell of a human being. Yeah, that is me done for today. We got the easiest to hardest tier list completed. So that's a huge dub. That'll be going out on YouTube in the coming days, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I don't know if I've got a video going out tonight or not. We will see. But W stream, appreciate you guys hanging. Appreciate those of you that stayed after the tier list as well, because I am more than just a tier list maker. Is that right? I starved myself for ages. Yeah, that's wild. I just have like 0 energy when I don't eat. Is that good? That's brilliant for streaming, that is. Oh no, Lanimite. That's unfortunate. No one's got time to eat all day. I flipping do. That's why I got arms like this. I'm going to go train. I'm going to go hit upper at the gym and then maybe do like a fucking hour cycle or something after. I don't know. I'll see how my ankle is holding up. But yeah, appreciate all the follows. Appreciate the subs as well today, gang. I'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow at the start of the stream, we'll be doing a DPS power tier list update. Okay, so I'm sure you guys won't want to miss that. So stick around, jump inside the Discord if you're not already in it. And I will catch you guys then. Maybe I might go live a bit earlier tomorrow. We will see. But yeah, peace out, my dudes.